Hey everybody, it's me. Sorry I can't be with you tonight at our team meeting, but I'm super excited for this information I'm about to share with you. I'm having a blast in Cancun, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and assume I'm having a blast in Cancun, but I'll be home late Wednesday. So many thanks to Beth for hosting this meeting tonight, and get ready. So at our President's Club trip in June, Heather Battles, who is in the VP of Creative and Marketing, gave us this presentation on brand identity, and I was so excited about it because I feel like it, of course she does it in her own fantastical, magical way, but it kind of puts into context why brand identity as pure romance consultants is super duper important for us and things to keep in mind as we are promoting our business. So I have all the slides that I'm going to share with you now. And I will also make this a photo album when I get back if you want it for future reference. So I don't have all the amazing words that she does, but I'm going to plow my way through this and hopefully it'll make some sense to you guys. So I wanted to do this as a video to make sure that you heard it from me, and that hopefully it'll help better explain why brand identity is so important as a consultant. So what's brand identity? Brand identity is our logo, our font, the colors that we use. That's what we're talking about when we talk about brand identity. Let's talk about the next one. Woohoo! So Pure Romance as a brand, it's more than a party. It's more than a toy, and it's more than a job. We all agree that Pure Romance is an experience. And this all goes hand in hand. So the experience, the Pure Romance experience, should be the same for each woman who is introduced to Pure Romance. Yeah, right? So make sure that we're kind of equal across the board. Everyone gets the same experience, because we've all heard horror stories from people who have had a terrible consultant. So we want to make sure that we are branding and making our parties consistent. Oh, let me go back to this. So think about when you go get a sub from Subway. All right, when you bite into that sub, they want you to taste the meat, the cheese, the vegetables, the condiments, and the bread. And they try to keep it consistent all the way through. No one's, unless they're a really terrible sandwich maker, going to give you a bite that's just straight veggies or just only meat or just only bread. So think about that kind of being consistent, making sure everybody gets the meat of our presentation, the education, the empowerment, all of that kind of fun stuff at every party, and ideally with every interaction they have with you, correct? Correct. So let's talk about who the ideal Pure Romance customer is. That's really simple. It's every woman. So we recognize that each woman is an individual with their own set of circumstances that she brings into relationships and into parties. We want to embrace women, how they come to us, the women that they currently are, their past, and where they're headed. So making sure we're welcoming across the board, and we're definitely educating and empowering these women. So I loved this one. So let's talk about the different women that we interact with, all right? We've got college grads. They desperately need money to pay off student loans. New moms have no idea what's happening. Their bodies have changed. They don't know what normal is. Everything's new. Menopausal women, they want answers in a giant cup of ice. I thought that was pretty funny. Women who are bored, they're tired of the routine and need something new. A retiree who's ready for a new adventure and wants to be reminded that you're only as old as you feel. A new grandma who can't believe she just became a Mimi for the first time. We serve cancer survivors who wants to enjoy intimacy without pain, and she wants to reclaim her sexuality and sensuality and feel sexy again. The executive, she wants a glass or maybe a bottle of wine and a night away from her computer. Maybe we have mothers of 4. She needs to get out of the house and finally do something good for herself. We have our single girls. They're not done exploring their self and their options, and they refuse to settle for less than the best. We serve a lot of newlyweds. They want to keep their marriage fresh and exciting for the years to come. And then we have 20-somethings. They enjoy being trendsetters and look forward to nights out with the girls. These are all types of women that we serve, right? And we want to give them a consistent experience. And obviously, that's a good, consistent experience. So our brand identity represents our commitment to excellence in our products, our parties, the business opportunity, and our knowledge and support as consultants. So let's talk about what that looks like. Obviously, you can see at the top of the screen, we have 3 of our Pure Romance corporate approved business card templates. And then at the bottom, you'll see ones that consultants have created. And just look at the consistency along the top. It's neat, it's clean, it's not too much information, it's not busy. And then the ones on the bottom where we've got different fonts. That looks like a copy, almost like a copyrighted image far on the right. That's another thing you have to think about is corporate has a copyright on our logo. So if you're using them, that could get you in big fat trouble with the copyright law. So like that heart, that specific heart shape, just be a little careful with it. Look at these flyers that some consultants have created. And we know that these are great resources for information, especially when you're hostess coaching or advertising on Facebook. But I mean, look at this. There are so many words on this flyer. Would you want to read this? Yeah, it does all the work for you, so you don't have to hostess coach, but do you think your customer is actually going to read that? The answer is hell no. So it's just too much, and it looks unprofessional, and all the fonts are different. Just a little crazy. All right, so I think I have one more consultant created flyer for you. So here's the thing, if you're printing this at home, this is just a lot of ink. That's a lot of ink that you're gonna be printing out. So again, it's a lot of the same information that you'll cover in hostess coaching, but now it's just gonna cost you a lot more money, and it's trying to do the job for you, and it's too much information, and the fonts aren't the same, and it's just too much, too much. Don't do it. Now, all that saying, we talked about it at the President's Club trip, and corporate is totally on board with making some of these items corporate approved to a degree, right? Because you can't just hand someone a piece of paper and think that you can just show up to their party in 3 weeks and you haven't talked to them on the phone. They're not going to read this piece of paper, especially with all this information on it. Yep, here we go with copyrights again. Check that out. What's up, Channing Tatum? Who wants to get sued, right? That is a copyrighted image. Even though you've put your own pink sheen on it, you've got your information on there. It's just a little risky, and we don't recommend it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't use, there's been a picture of Angelina Jolie with like a bottle of O strapped to her leg going around for years. Don't do it. Don't use anyone famous's image. Don't use anyone's image. We're not trying to sell people. We're selling products. Don't do it. And putting a toy front and center, that's just a little, just not as classy as it could be. Let's say it that way. So why does this matter? I know a lot of you guys might be asking now, why does this matter? So Pure Romance, you guys know, it's a resource for intimacy products, sexual health education, and enhancing relationships. That's what we do. Can you tell that by looking at this flyer, or that flyer, or that flyer? I mean, it might be in this one because there's a lot of words on this one, but nobody's gonna know that. Pure Romance, this is the kicker. It is not known as the #1 resource for intimacy products, sexual health education, and enhancing relationships. That's not us. All right, it needs to be, but we're not there yet. So what is brand identity? It's a phrase used in the marketing industry which describes having a well-known brand name based on the idea that the owner of a well-known brand name can generate more money from products with that brand name than from products with a less well-known name. Because consumers believe that a product with a well-known name is better than products with a less well-known name. So let's talk about when you go grocery shopping. And which are you more likely to buy, Fruit Loops or Fruity-O's, right? A lot of people shy away from generic because they think it's less than. So having a strong branded name like Fruit Loops or say Pure Romance is going to get more customers to you. They're going to know and expect a good quality product, which is something that we definitely offer. So that's what brand identity is in a nutshell. And the formula for brand success is consistency equals recognition equals trust equals sales. And it's so much more than what we portray at parties. It's what we portray everywhere. So think about where you shop, right? Think about the stores that you spend your money and your time at, especially your Pure Romance money. It's probably because they're consistent. You recognize them, you've built a relationship with them, which is trust, and so they get your money. So what if brand identities didn't exist? Look at that. Which one would you rather buy from? I'm gonna go with the one on the left, right? What if Nordstrom had different fonts for every different store in every different city? When you go visit a cousin in another city and they take you to Nordstrom and you see a different font that looks different than the one that yours is at home, are you going to be more likely or less likely to trust the value of the product in that store? So just think about it a little bit like that, okay? And yes, Heather was so funny. She said she knows that everybody wants to be a unique individual, right? So look at Brenda Bing's simple, classic business card. And then look at this one where she does lingerie and she's got kissy lips and a half-naked girl on her card and a prosthesis specialist, right? And her different fonts we got going on. It's just, I hope you guys can see what I'm getting at. Like it's just a little much. So corporate knows that you want to stand out. So when the average woman is asked to name the first brand or resource they think of for lubricants, it's not Pure Romance. It's KY or Astroglide. Boo! Needs to be us. When the average woman is asked to name the first brand or resource they think of for sex toys, they think Adam and Eve or an adult store, just a generic truck stop off the highway adult store, not Pure Romance. What's the first brand they should think of? Pure Romance, obviously. Do they? No. What about for sex education? They think their doctor or God forbid, the internet. No, they need to come to Pure Romance. Their doctor is great, but their doctor's not always as well versed as we are, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. And enhancing relationships. When the average woman's asked to name the first brand or resource, they think Cosmo or magazines. Now, that's something I take a really big fat issue with, right? Cosmo doesn't write those articles for us. They write it because it's clickbait. You buy it because you see it on the cover. The information in there is not actually going to help you with anything. So the challenge is, how do we become the first to mind and the #1 choice for consumers when it comes to lubricants, sex toys, sex education, and relationship enhancement items, right? How do we do it? We do it with consistent message and identity. So the 3 main objectives is to provide that consistent message and identity, build trust by establishing ourselves as experts, and provide superior products matched by superior service. Now here's the great thing. Corporate does a lot of this already for us. They're providing us amazing products. They've got crazy educational opportunities. And they have everything branded, so you don't have to recreate the wheel, right? All you have to do is learn it and become an expert on it and pass that information on to others. So that is my little to-do about brand identity. I hope this made sense, and I hope you guys going forward will think about the message that corporate wants to put out and that you want to put out about your business, especially when branding yourselves, especially online. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm gonna make sure this video gets posted in our team page as well after the meeting. So just get ready for that, and you guys feel free to comment with any questions that you might have, and we'll make it happen. Thank you for tuning in, and let me see if I can get this back to full screen. I hope you guys learned something new. I certainly did, and I hope it was pretty beneficial for you guys. So thanks again for tuning in. Continue to have a great meeting. Make me proud. I know there's some recognition coming up here in a little bit, and I already printed out all the certificates. So I'm really excited for you guys. I'll talk to you later.